Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year's. I want to welcome you all to the Mastermind Parenting Journey. I hope that this summit might change your parenting life one way or another so you can really enjoy your parenting journey. And I'm very excited to have all of you here. My name is Hang. I'm a founder of Connectoyou. I'm also a host of this event. And today with us from America is Dr. Ziggy. Thank you so much for being having a time with me today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about this and about meeting you.
Yeah, thank you. And so to really start, could you give a little bit introduction about you and what you are doing to our audience, please?
Sure. So my name is Siggy Cohen, Dr. Siggy, a lot of people know me as, and I specialize in child development and family dynamic. And I have a private practice in person as well as on Zoom because I do work now with the whole world. So that's an opportunity that I am personally very grateful for. So I like to recognize and realize that I can help people outside of just my physical environment. In my practice, I help mainly parents navigate the challenges of parenting with their children, the different personalities of their kids, the different needs, the different ages. I help them understand and recognize what exactly is going on with their children so they can respond to it more precisely, more carefully. I work on long-lasting solutions rather than in the moment putting out fires with children that's what it feels like often. I also work on other more serious situations and circumstances that people go through, whatever challenges, crisis, trauma, transitions, and so on.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of work, and I myself also very excited to talk to you today. And I believe that I can also learn a lot from you with what you share. And yeah, and I think that parenting is not an easy job at all. It's like there is so many things that we don't know about. And I mean, especially nowadays that children, they have a lot of things can cut their attention, like be distracted by so many things. And as an adult or parent, we might feel like they don't listen to us. Whatever we say, they ignore it. And what should we do in that circumstance?
Yes, it's a very good question. And it's a very, very challenging and common complaint that parents have. My children just don't listen to me. So we have to understand that parenting in general comes from children only listen to their parents. To now, it's shifted in such a way that it feels like the ball it's really just in their hand and they only want to be listened to. So what we need is to learn to balance that. How do we listen to one another? So first I would say, abandon that complaint. My children don't listen to me. That's not a real thing. Whenever you say that, you just become more frustrated, you become more annoyed, and you are going about it the wrong way. Because then you are demanding your children listen to you the old way. But the old way doesn't exist because parents today have changed it. They don't want the old way. So you can't pick and choose. I want to be there for my children, to listen to them, to be accessible, to give them everything. But I also want this one thing that belongs to the old system because it works for me whenever it works for me. We can't do that. So here and now, we have to work on partnership, collaboration, understanding what is the parent's role in their child's life and what is the child's role in general. So giving children a voice doesn't mean that they have a free for all, that they can do whatever they want. I hear you. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Yes, but now I'm the one that's making a decision. So just because children are being heard today does not mean the parents relinquish their authority, given up on their authority. So parents have to understand that dynamic. Yeah, I hear you. I can understand you complaining. This doesn't feel right. You don't want that. This is difficult for you. I hear you. And now I'm still the one that makes a decision.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a little bit confused for me at that point, because, for example, that, okay, we hear our child's voice, like we hear what's happening, but we have to make the decision. Would it possible for the child to make their own decision?
Absolutely. Within the world that, within their jurisdiction, it's kind of like, what is a child capable truly of deciding? And that's why we need parents to understand child development. We need them to understand where their children are coming from. I don't want to go to sleep is a child's decision because they don't want to go to sleep right here, right now. But do they understand? Do they fully understand the big picture of sleep, the long-term effects of no sleep, the inability to manage and cope without sleep? Do they fully understand that? No. So I hear you don't want to go to sleep right now. I hear you. Yeah. But you know what? I do know better. It's okay. You know, there used to be the saying, Father knows best, you know, do as I say, right? And now parents are scared to say that. But I'm like, parents, you really do know better. It's okay. You know what is best for your child. I'm not saying 100%. They do have a voice. But think about it. Can your child really make a decision about sleep? I don't want to go to school about that. Can your child make a decision about running into the street? Can they make a decision about how many cookies they should have? They can make decisions about what to play, how long to play with whatever it is that they chose, right? And sleep, another thing. They can make decisions about many other aspects of life that really have to do with them in the here and now. They can't make decisions that are long-term because they don't have the experience. They don't have the big picture. We do.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's like, you know, like another way to talk about that is also, at first we have to think about, okay, what that decision is. You know, is the child have knowledgeable enough to like make their own decisions? And also, you know, we also need to communicate with them so it doesn't sound like demanding. No, you have to do this because I tell you so.
Yes and no, you're right. So, you know, parents want to be very respectful towards their children, but they confuse the respect with giving into their children, with bargaining with them, with wanting their children to agree with them.
Yeah.
And what we want to say is, your child doesn't actually have to agree with you in order for you to respect them. I respect my child when I say, yeah, this is what we have to do right now, because I do know better. I'm not like, this is what we have to do and you have no choice in the matter. I say it respectfully, I have respect. I say it kindly, I have respect. But I don't expect my child to agree with me. That's the difference. It's kind of like, you have to go to sleep. No, I don't want to go to sleep. You have to go to sleep. No, I don't want to go to sleep. We can go back and forth with that, right? Yeah. I understand. I know you don't want to go to sleep. It's okay that you don't want to go to sleep. I truly understand that. But yes, we're going to sleep. What we expect is, okay, you have to go to sleep, and we want our children to say, okay.
Yeah.
But they don't always.
Yeah.
The voice that children have is the fact that they don't agree with us. Think about your childhood. Think about the old days.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents told you what to do, right?
Yeah.
How many times, and you didn't say a word about it, but how many times you didn't agree?
Yeah, many times I would say that.
Exactly. You didn't, exactly. So that hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
You still did, even though internally you didn't agree.
Mm.
Now, children are outwardly not agreeing with us. They say it.
Mm.
And then they still have to do it, because the fact that they're children and we are parents, that hasn't changed.
Yeah, true.
Children need parents to tell them what to do.
Yeah, I think it's very true. But I think at the certain point, for example, when your child turns to 13, for example, in the teenager, everything like goes south. Nothing happened on the way, and no connection at all, and cannot communication to your children anymore. And up to that point, what are we going to do with our babies?
Yeah. So teenagers go through a very important and inevitable change. The brain changes in so many ways. When we understand that, we fight with them way less. We can set very clear boundaries, and we actually then understand that truly teenagers are not supposed to agree with us at all. And we don't fight that.
Yeah.
We actually, even with teenagers, I hear you. I want to do this and I don't like that. First of all, I can tell my teenager, I want to hear you. I really do, but not this way. So, hey, tone yourself down. You can say everything, but change your intonation. So you see, I can demand that. I can, because here is what I come from. I'm not really demanding it from my teenager. I am training, I am mentoring, I am guiding them to be better communicative. So teenagers want to be heard, but they think that they have to explode in order to be heard. And I want to say, my beautiful teen, I hear you. Go ahead. Tell me, you don't want to go to school. You hate this. You don't want that. I can hear you. And then I can say, I know, I'm sorry, but that's what we need to do. I know it's hard, but that's what we're doing. You see, everybody just wants to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so, I mean, being heard and being understood seem to be like two different things, because go back again with like the teenager, or even, I mean, sometimes I myself, I think like my parents don't understand what I want or what I really do. They don't understand that. So being heard and being understood, I think there's a gap in between them.
Very true, because we come from such different worlds. We come from such different experiences and ideas and a belief system. I believe these are the way things should be. My teen, because I have accumulated this experience with age, with time, and so on. But my teenager is just beginning to understand everything about themselves and about the world. They're just at the beginning of that. So it's true that we don't always understand one another. We don't see eye to eye. And a teenager will say, you don't understand. And I want to say, you're right. You're right. Some things I do understand. Some things I went through on my own, but sometimes I don't understand. It's true. You see that when I'm open as a parent, when I'm open-minded, when I am open to truly hearing my teen, I can admit that I don't always understand.
Mm.
And then I don't fight it so much.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very, important message that, we have to admit, and, it's okay to to not be right all the time.
Very true, which is hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard. Like when we are in the doubt, like, no, I live longer than you. I know what you are supposed to do.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
we have to, because teenagers don't understand fully the scope of life and consequences, long-term consequences, we have to understand it for them. So we do need to set boundaries, but we can definitely tell them that we know their goal right then and there is to break these boundaries. We can understand that, you see. I can, much like I can understand that my little one doesn't want to go to sleep, and I still say, but you have to. I know you don't want to go to sleep. I can tell my teen, I know you want to stay up all night, and I know you think you can drink and drive, and I know you can, I know you think nothing's going to happen to you. I know that. That's how you think. I'm not fighting that. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm still in charge, and this is what we're doing. So I understand where you're coming from. I'm not arguing. I'm not trying for you to understand me.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and I think, like boundary is very good word, but sometimes parents might think or like overdo it, and it becomes overprotected.
It's true. Yeah. There's a saying, pick your battles, right? We say that often with children. It's very hard because what are the real battles, and where and when do I let go?
Yeah. So how can we, like really distinguish and like be aware of what are boundaries, and, kind of some hints. Okay, when do I know that I'm overprotect my child? And when I do that, what happened with my child in the future?
Yeah, I think that the real gauge, the way to check that for sure, is to be in touch with yourself. So parents, and this is the other part of parenting, is parents have to understand not just their children, but themselves. So why am I so certain that this is the right way? Where am I coming from? What are my own fears and anxieties about my child or my children? Where am I scared that I don't know what I'm doing, that I feel helpless, and therefore I'm compensating or I am giving in? Where am I not recognizing how I'm depleted, and therefore I zigzag? One time I said this, and another time I said that. So learning about ourselves is one of the most important aspects of parenting nowadays.
Yeah.
You're raising your child, you have to raise your own self. And that means being aware of how your child triggers you and why you are fighting them. Are you fighting them for the right reason, or are you fighting them because you are triggered by them, because you are locked in being right, being in charge? You are scared. You are not understanding how your children make you feel.
Yeah, so, and what could be the very first step for them to be aware and understand about themselves?
Yeah, is to actually literally pause and think. It's self-reflection, it's self-awareness. It's asking, it's not like, I'm doing my best for you. And you see, when I say that, I try to convince my child. But when I stop and I go, wait, what do I mean by I'm trying to do my best? Of course, I'm doing my best, but do I always really understand what my best is? And how am I feeling right now? I'm frustrated. I'm sad. I'm scared. Oh, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah. So if these are the things I'm feeling, I cannot parent my child with those emotions. They stand in the way. I am now being emotional myself.
Yeah.
Not rational.
Yeah. And I mean, being able to even like speak out loud what the emotion you just share, for example, like fear, angry, from a parent perspective, it might not easy for everybody. Because, you know, like I also learned that, you know, in my childhood, or, you know, in Asian culture in general, that we as an adult, we cannot show our weakness to our child because it's not cool. So how can we overcome that belief?
Yeah. So nowadays, it's true that parents show their weaknesses much more. They're much more transparent to their children, but they're missing one thing. So once again, we went from not showing them anything to showing them everything.
Yeah.
What we need in between is I can share with my child how I'm feeling, but then who's supposed to take care of my emotions? My child? Can't you see I'm so busy? Don't you understand that I have so many things to do? See, parents say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Any minute you are making me angry. Yeah. I am taking my emotions and dumping them on my child. And I am now expecting my child to say, okay, mom, so I'm not going to bother you. Okay, fine. I'm not going to disturb you. Okay. And I'm expecting my child to correct themselves by feeling what? Guilty? Or empathetic for me. So now I'm asking my child to take care of me. So instead, what I want to say is something like, right now I'm having a very hard time. So, okay, I'm going to take a minute. No, give me some time. Don't bother me. No, I am going to take a minute to cool myself down, to think, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And I am also going to tell my child this. I am getting very frustrated right now, but I'm still okay. I still know what to do. See, as an adult, I don't dump my emotions on my child. As an adult, I own my emotions. But then I also see my emotions through to a solution. I am being accountable. It's like saying, I have a problem. It's the difference between, this is my problem, what are you going to do about it? Which is nice if the person is equipped to really help me. Or I have a problem and I'm going to think what it is that I need to do right now. And I'm okay, even when I have a problem. Now my child looks at me and thinks, oh, my parent just shared something with me, but they didn't make me feel guilty. They seem together. They seem responsible. That's what we want. We want this kind of, our children looking up to us, not because we demand, but because they notice how we go through challenges. We share, we're open about it, but we take care of them. We are accountable. We don't dump it. We don't expect others to fix it for us.
Yeah, I think, you know, from just hearing what you say, so, you know, I try to put myself, for example, that you are my parent, for example. And if I hear what you just share, the first I feel like, okay, it's okay to be frustrated. You know, you don't have to go all over the way with everything you want to do. So at first, like you show me, it's okay to show your emotions, but you still be okay with that. And secondly, that you know, like take care of it, because I mean, it's very easy to blame on somebody's fault, not us.
Yes.
And I see now sometimes, you know, like being overprotected. I mean, like parents not wrong, they just don't aware what's going on. Like overprotected and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have time for you to do this. I didn't have money for that. So it's kind of blame on themselves, and children have the idea like, okay, because of you, so I don't have what I want.
Right. Yeah. And turning, instead of blame, And, you know, we can apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't have time. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes we run out of time because kids will say, you promised, you lied to me. Yeah, and now parents are trying to sort of like justify, yeah, but there was so much to do and this and that. Instead, let's help our children gain a better perspective of life, which is not always about who's to blame, who's at fault, who's responsible. Sometimes things just don't work out. And what do we need? To cope, to manage, to rise above it. So I want to model for our child. And I want to say, you're absolutely right. I didn't lie. I did promise you right. Or we had a plan. Yeah, but traffic, or somehow we needed to do this, or the car broke down, or the baby got sick and we had to go. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's tough when things don't work our way. Yeah. What do we do when things don't work our way? What do? We just break down, we blame. Maybe we share how we're frustrated. And maybe then we also remember sometimes things work our way and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, even able to hear that is making me feel very relieved because, you know, like I'm a perfectionist. So I have to confess that I'm a perfectionist. So I'm always expect like things in my way and everything have to be in control. But when things out of control, I feel like really panic. I don't know, like it came from my family or it's just taught me on the way. But even being here, like heard what you just shared, you know, sometimes things doesn't go like the way we expected. So it's totally okay.
It's hard for sure. You're right. Especially when you feel like it's supposed to go this way. And when you feel that you are responsible for it going this way, that's the control, right? Like I can make it happen. So there's a difference between control and determination. It's not the same thing. And sometimes, we have to learn about that. I don't know that we have control over everything. And sometimes things do get away from us. But we have many attempts. We can try again. Determination is not that everything goes our way. Determination is the belief that we can attempt or try or learn from the experience and then do it better. That's what determination is. So being a functional person, being responsible, you can tell yourself, I am very functional, I'm very responsible. So that's why I think I have control over everything. I don't, but I'm responsible and functional. I am determined to work at getting the best outcome, to trying my hardest, to doing what I can to complete and accomplish the task. You see how it's a very different kind of mindset. It gives much more room to breathe.
And I think it's just, you know, like makes the best out of the worst. Maybe sometimes it's also very important for parents who doesn't want to do the perfect thing for their child. You know, like we always want to do it right. Everything has to be correct. I have to make my child be happy every single day. But it's not the way that things works.
It's not because it's complicated. There's so many parts to it. And I can think about the many parts, but I don't know to think all the parts through.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I want to admit, that now going back to admitting my weaknesses. We really wanted this to happen. I did too. I so wanted to make this go according to our plan. It didn't really work out. So let's see what worked. Parts of our plan worked. Parts of our plan didn't work. Maybe we can think about it. Maybe we can figure out a way to do it differently next time. But you see, I'm not fully feeling only guilt. I'm thinking about it from a bigger perspective. I'm brainstorming. I'm allowing for mistakes to happen so I can learn from them, not just feel sad and sorry and guilty.
Yeah. And I think, like what you shared to me, it's kind of remind me about, like problem solving skills, and also like be able to adapt with the new situations. Because, I feel like nowadays, the young generation, they have so many things from the parents. They have love, they have stuff, they have all the care, all the protective. So somehow it's make their problem solving have a problem, that when things happen, they panic and they don't know what to do. And again, the parent fixed it for them.
Yeah, so true. And this is such a important part of what is no problem solving skill.
Yeah,
children are gaining or not having. So yeah, the ability to cope, to navigate through challenges, to see the problem, but also know there is a solution, to build that self-reliance. So crucial for life. And you're right that parents today don't just love their children outwardly, which is wonderful. They're present, they're there, but they jump to fix everything. They jump to give an answer to everything, to have an advice about everything. And what they're doing is, in some way, they don't realize that they are minimizing their children's capability to think things through, to cope, to manage, to come up with solutions, which is maybe the most important thing about life, is to know how to clean up a mess that I made, is to know how to get up after I fall down. And that is literally and metaphorically. I can't always have somebody rescue me from everything. Then I become helpless. And you're absolutely right that helplessness causes so much anxiety.
Yeah, and for example, that my mom is the perfect example for this, because she's do everything for my younger brother, and she always make excuses. He's my baby, he know nothing. No, now he's 22 years old. He's not a baby anymore, but still, like, he's on the way. And I mean, like, sometimes we're just not aware like what we are doing, and we just do everything our best, and we try to make our children's life a little bit easier, but the fact that will make it worse at some cases. So how can we avoid it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So for instance, here is a good understanding of two very different perspectives, your mom's perspective and life. What I mean by that is this: your mom should be able to say this: he is my baby because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But he is not a baby. And right then and there, because what she says, he's my baby, and then that's it. But there is no perspective of real life, reality here. Yeah. So it's okay for your mom to feel still that, oh, he's my baby. Yeah, but he's not a baby. You see, right then and there, I recognize emotions and rationale, subjection and objective. So what we want is to recognize that I want to jump in and fix everything for my child. I do. But is that good for me or for my child? Because my child is my baby, it's true. But my child is no baby. That's true also. So what do I pick? Always my subjection. Yeah, but I want to do everything for my child. Yeah, but that's me. That's my need. Is that right for my child? But it's hard. I have such a hard time when my baby cries. I have a hard time when my child is not happy. I have a hard way. Oh, you have a hard time with that. So maybe you should do something about that and help your child learn problem-solving skills so they can fix their own problems. So they can be more capable, more reliant, more strong.
Yeah. And what you just said is just, okay, it's my problem or my child's problem, because, I see that from my brother, it's not a big problem, but for my mom, the worst might end on that day.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. And then what happens, your brother learns that he doesn't really have to deal with his problems. His problems become someone else's problem.
Yeah.
And that sometimes I tell parents, your children's problems are not dry cleaning. They can't just give them to you. You fix and clean them and give them back. No, your children's problems are for you to maybe witness, be there for them, for support, recognize, understand, for you to help them reflect on their problems, but not for you to take the problem, fix it, and then give them back what? Life without problems? It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because most of problems we create anyway.
Yeah, definitely. We see trouble with some problem.
Yeah. Yeah, because think about it. I don't want to, or I want to, is not a real problem. It's my problem.
Yeah.
So who's supposed to fix that? Me, just me.
So how can we allow my children to be failed?
How can we allow what?
How can we allow that our feeling is okay when our children is failed?
Well, it's very difficult. I agree. So what we want is to maybe not necessarily use the word fail.
Yeah.
But mistakes happen. Things definitely don't always work out. We have to learn to be aware of our own guilt and shame and what our problems are, seeing and watching our children go through life.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to be so much more mindful of who we are before we jump to rescue our children, because we project our problems on them, our needs on them. You see, often parents want their children to have the life that they didn't have.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. I mean, to a certain degree, you can give your child what you didn't have, but you can't undo your own childhood by giving your child the perfect one. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, wow, I might need some day to really, listen again to you and really understand the concept. I mean, of course, easier to say than doing, because, it's by nature, we want to protect our children. There's nothing is wrong there, but it's, being it too much.
Yes.
And we think that it's the best for our children.
Yeah.
But what you said, maybe it's best for ourselves.
Very true. We misjudge, because you mentioned the word protect. We want to protect our children. That's innate. That is just part of our wiring. And thank goodness we need to do that. But we don't always recognize what we are protecting them from. And do they truly need protection?
Yeah.
We jump to protect. But we're like, wait, what am I protecting my child from? A little bit of difficulty, challenges, learning to find ways to cope and manage. Should I protect them from that? Is that a real threat? Is difficulty a real threat in life? Maybe it's not. So my child is having a hard time and I don't want them to have a hard time. So I'm trying to protect them from it. But then maybe I have to go, wait, maybe having a hard time is actually sometimes important. I'm not abandoning my child in the middle of the jungle. Having a hard time, you figure it out on your own. I'm here. But yeah, I see you having a hard time. I know it's hard. But it's okay. You're going to be okay. Try and think what you can do. Figure it out. I know you can do it. You see, I'm providing support, maybe a little bit of cheering and coaching, but I'm not rescuing. I'm allowing my child to struggle a little bit because I recognize struggling is not a real threat. Within the life that I already created for my child. I created already a good life for them. And I can't rescue them or protect them from everything. And I should not. That's the most important. I should not.
Yeah, wow. For me, it's very deep message. And I mean, it sounds very simple when you said that. But I mean, it's also very true that, like it's not easy to really go through that. And, for example, that even like I'm into parenting a lot, but I cannot change my mom perspective. It's always like that. And so, so I mean, what could be, like really the small step for people have the strong beliefs as my mom, like, no, it's my child. I don't want him to have a terrible life. What they could do, the very small thing to really change how they think, and the child may have like a better future with problem solving skills.
It's hard with your mom, there's no doubt. But if you can, maybe what you can ask her is, Mom, when your son goes through a hard time, when you think he can't figure something out, how does it make you feel? She'll say, well, I don't want him to. I understand, yeah. But how does it really make you feel? What goes through you when you're facing your child having a hard time? And I will tell you, if we ask her and we're quiet and we really want to hear, she'll say, I'm scared. I'm scared for him. So what she's driven by is her fear of what will happen if she lets go. She's scared that she can't protect him. And that's a very, very real fear. So we want to help her with that. We want to say, yeah, I can understand you're scared for him. Yeah. Now we want to maybe say, what exactly you want to protect him from? Is he really in danger? And I can tell you deep down inside, she feels he is in danger. But she hasn't ever really thought about it. Like, Mom, what kind of danger is he in? Is he in real danger? Or he's struggling with making decisions and finding his way and not knowing what to do? Isn't everybody struggling with the exact same thing? Is that really dangerous? Or that is maybe important? Now, there's also maybe other things. I don't want to overanalyze your mom,
No
but
problem.
but I imagine that somewhere inside, I don't know, does she feel guilty about something? Is she trying to protect herself? It's possible.
Yeah.
So what we want is to help her break, in a way, herself from her child, not to abandon him, but to be able to think about herself only. So she can actually help in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Wow.
that is hard. That's
yeah. But I think what you just share is very, very valuable because so for me, Asian culture have a very, very strong protective over children, especially its boys.
Yeah.
That is the cultural thing. I don't say it's right or wrong, but it's that's the belief we have for so many years. And I can see that, like now they said that when the boy is baby, they have their mom. When they grown up, they have their wives. So the whole life they don't have to worry about anything. And I mean, it's so wrong concept there.
Yeah, I totally understand. And you're right that now to break that or to break away from that is so hard. Because maybe what is happening, what used to happen is that, like you say, the boy belongs to his mom and then to his wife. So what it means is that the boy doesn't actually have his own life. He is ruled by the needs of others, and he's supposed to fit in. Maybe your brother obviously is young, he's living in a different world. He wants his own life. And your mom doesn't understand that. So in her mind, he's not doing what she wants him to do. He's not being what she wants him to be. And to her, that's dangerous. That feels out of control.
Yeah.
But it's not really dangerous. It's just scary because it's different.
Yeah, I think that message like $1 billion for that message to do the share. And I think it's very, very important as well, because what we are doing is not only for English speaking people, but it's also for Vietnamese people. And like that message, sometimes it's not even a mom, it could be a grandpa really want to do that for their grandchildren. But I think it's very important. And as you mentioned at the beginning, like it's the long-lasting solutions. If you want your child to have the certain skills in life, you have to let it go one way or another.
Right. And it's very hard when you have traditions, when you have your own morals, when you have your mindset, right, on the way things should be. And now you have to sort of like switch and accept someone else and accept another path. It's very, very hard. So what we want is to help maybe parents, your mother in this case, understand that her child is not throwing everything away. But maybe he is changing some of the path, some of the molds, some of the traditions, not all of it. So maybe he can also explain it better to her. What does he really want? What is he really doing? Does he know what's going on?
Yeah.
Or he's just rebelling with no proportions, right?
Yeah, and I think for knowing what to do, it's also, like, because I'm also work with young people, and some people some of them tell me like they have everything and they don't know what they want. Like for the younger generation, it's just okay, they have so many things there. They can have whatever they want. It depends on how good the finance situation in their family. But at the end of the day, they don't even know what they want. And for me, that is very the red flag for life. Because at some point, like you're going to feel kind of, like depression, or you don't know why you exist.
Yeah, you're very, very right. It's when you know that this is the purpose of you is to fulfill what others want for you, but you don't know what your purpose is, that can create such a disconnect, depression and anxiety. And the question, what's it all for? Because we need to have a balance between I am here for others and I am here for myself. It can't all be just about me. That's narcissism. It can't all be just about everything. I got to do the right thing because my parents, my culture, my family, right? There's got to be a balance. How much do I do for myself? How much do I do because it's the right thing for others? I understand that sense of responsibility, not oppression, not being forced into. I understand, becoming a good citizen, obeying law is not because I feel scared all the time that I'm going to get caught, right? I often say, I ask people, when you go into, let's say, here is Target, right? A store, a big store. When you go into the store, do you not steal because there are cameras and you're afraid to be caught? Or do you not steal just because it's not the right thing for everybody? You see, being a good citizen is not just, this is what I have to do because I'm going to get caught, because others. No, this is what I have to do because it's right for me and it's right for everyone else. So finding that is what we want for the young people. You don't have to rebel against everything, but you also don't have to accept everything. Find your way. Create a path, but also understand what else is there. So you're not constantly fighting the system or being dominated by the system.
Yeah, and I think, in that path, the parenting takes a very important role, because that's the very first step to really encourage your child to make their own decision, to really ask deep down, what do you really want to have? What do you really want to do?
Right. And accept, because sometimes it's a process. So children can say, even older kids, I don't know. And parents can say, that's okay. Think about it. Take a moment, take your time and really think about it. We want them to have, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. It's like, sometimes it takes time. How much time? Years? I don't know. But again, there's a fine line, there's a balance for everything.
Yeah, and I think it's this, what we share today, of course, it's not easy to be a parent with so many challenging right now. But the good news is that we have people like you, who can have the knowledge, who have the skills, and who can really teach or be there, partner with parents on the way, so they don't feel like they are there alone. Because I know that so many parents out there have the same situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree that I want to say, on a good note, parenting nowadays is difficult, but there is help and support. But also parents are, and they need that credit. They're so much more present, and they're more invested, and they're more dedicated than ever before. And they are trying their hardest. And we need to give them the credit for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And that's also what this series about, that, we give parents kind of different perspective that might help them to reflect on what happened, and they have a better idea to really teach or educate their child to have a happy and confident life later on. Yeah, and I mean, what you just share for me is very valuable, and I'm very, very happy that we could have a chance to talk today. And and for what you just shared, I think many audience want to go deeper with you. So could you give some information? Where could they find you? And I could also help to put all the links on the screen for people.
Right. Thank you so much, Hung, for that. So people can go on my website, drsiggy.com. There is a course for parents of young children. They can actually purchase. There will be another one coming out soon. But meanwhile, there's also just an understanding of my method, my approach. There are a lot of parenting tools on the website. They can just download or look through for free as well. They can find me on Instagram, Dr. Siggy, or Facebook. There are almost daily tips and practical tools that parents can receive from social media.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, you guys can see all the links on the screen, so you can contact Dr. Siggy if you have any questions on either social media or on her website. Yeah. And I mean, like, time really flies, and I wish I could talk to you for more hours, because what you know and your experience, like, really, really valuable for me. And I believe that not only myself, but also my audience also learn a lot from you. And again, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure for me as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and the last word for everybody, and for you especially, Dr. Siggy, I wish you have very good 2022, and you can help many, many, many parents and children out there to have a better life.
Thank you. I wish that, yeah, I wish that too.
Thank you.